So while I was putting my makeup on this morning, I pulled out all the same things, and then I made myself coffee, and while I was having my coffee I thought no one needs this much makeup. And then I've decided I'm going to start with sorting out my eyeshadow palettes. This is going to be so painful. I'm already regretting this decision. One thing that I find the most difficult to do is getting rid of makeup. And believe me, over the years, I got rid of loads. I've donated some, I give away stuff to family, friends. Because, you know, being on YouTube, I would buy every new palette that comes out, or I get some scent, and you start running out of spaces. So, how am I going to do this? I think I have some palettes in here that are so old that are probably a hazard. So maybe I should start with those. And the first two that I can see is the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill palette, her first palette, and I love this palette. I would say that this was my favorite Morphe palette, and I still love all the colors, especially the shimmers in here are amazing. And you know, all the browns, it's maybe a bit more on a reddish burgundy side, but you have a lot of warms, some cool browns, and then you have these four colorful ones that I never really use. So I think when did this palette come out? 8 years ago? I don't know. So it is very old. So I will probably just throw it away, and if I miss it, I would just buy new one if they still do it. I don't want to get rid of it, but I never pull it out, even though I love all the colors. Another really old palette, which I love, by the way, all the palettes that you see here are great and I like them all. That's not the problem, that I don't like some of them. That's why I am getting rid of them. It's just that I don't use them and they are so old. So this is the Too Faced Natural Lust palette. I bought this palette, I think, when I was in New York, which was years and years ago. Another gorgeous palette. You see, now I'm looking at it, I don't want to get rid of it. And you probably can't even get this palette anymore. I might give this one, well, I don't know if it's even good to give it to someone. I don't want to give them some disease. Although powder makeup doesn't really go off and grow bacteria like cream makeup. Of course it will, because if you are putting the brush on your eye, which has a bit of moisture, then dip it back into the eyeshadow, you can grow some bacteria. But what you can do, you can spray your eyeshadows with alcohol. This is IsoClean. This is for cleaning your brushes, but this has I think isopropyl alcohol and something else. So what you can do is open your palette, spray lightly the eyeshadows and leave it open to dry, and this alcohol should kill any bacteria. So you can do that with the powder stuff, but cream stuff you shouldn't really keep for longer than 6-12 months at the most. Okay, so these two are definitely going. Now, talking of old, these are palettes that I've made up myself, and these are Makeup Geek and some MAC singles. I used to be obsessed with Makeup Geek eyeshadows. You can see how much I've used them, but they are so old as well. Look at this perfect palette that I've made. How can I throw it away? but I think these have to go. They are so old. So these are probably my oldest palettes. Then I have couple from BH Cosmetics. BH Cosmetics doesn't even exist anymore. They've been bought out by someone. I've got Beautiful in Barcelona, and I love this palette. There is a look I remember that but you see again, even though I like this palette, there is only, I think, 4 or 5 eyeshadows that I use in here. And then Love in London. This one is gorgeous too. I think this is pointless exercise. I can't see myself throwing it away. Okay, and here I've got also made up palette, and these singles are, some are from Sydney Grace and some are from this Polish company that I bought years ago. And again, I don't really use these colorful eyeshadows, now and again, very rarely, but the shimmers here are quite nice. So maybe I go, this one is not that old. Well, it is, everything is old. You see, I'm trying to justify it to myself. Now this Pat McGrath Mothership Mega Celestial Odyssey, I bought this for a review. I reviewed it and I've never used it. Look, even still has the cover on the mirror. I never used it since. It's just mostly shimmers. I love Pat McGrath's eyeshadow, but I haven't touched this palette once. But I have someone in mind that I can give it to. Then I have Pat McGrath Mothership, what is that one? From the Love collection. So that was probably the limited edition that she does, I think around Valentine's. This is actually really nice. I'm going to keep it. It's not too big, it's not too overwhelming, very easy to make a look. So this will go to keep. Here I've got the Masquerade Mini by Juvia's Place. This is very niche brand and the eyeshadows are amazing, but again, I hardly ever use it, so I've got someone in mind that I can give this to. What else? Tartlet, and this is the Juicy. They don't do this one anymore, they do smaller one. Again, really pretty palette, but I hardly ever use it. To me this palette screams bride wedding palette. I never use that one either. Huda Beauty Rose Quartz, gorgeous palette, loved it, great quality. I never use it, but maybe if I have less I will be more inclined to use the ones that I have, because it's so overwhelming every time. They sit in 3 different drawers, and every time I open my drawers and have to think about it, I just pull out my bronzer and that's me done. Okay, let's go to Natasha Denona. Of course, I'm not going to get rid of any of my Natasha Denona palettes. Love them too much, but I am not that keen on the latest golden palette. Well, it's not a latest now because the I Need a Warm came out, and I wish I got I Need a Warm instead of this one. There is nothing wrong with it, but it's a bit too yellow for me. I'm not that much into golds. I don't mind like really pale golds or more rose golds, but the yellow golds I'm not into at all. So I might give this one to someone, and you never know, I might go for the I Need a Warm. Now retro palette, Lovely. I don't use it that much just because, you know, it is quite dark, quite intense. So I would use it more for if I was going out somewhere, but obviously I really love it, so I can't get rid of it. Although, when you think about my dream palette, it's very similar in tone. So that's retro, that's my dream palette. My dream has maybe a bit more, he has few like orangey, warmish colors, whereas this one is more pinky purpley. So yeah, they are different. Have to keep them both. Then I need a nude. So I have like these two more intense palettes and two everyday. So I need a nude and the glam palette. I would say more delicate for everyday. This one is very cool, the glam palette, and I need a nude is more of a neutral. So definitely keeping these two. Now I have a lot of small Natasha Denona palettes. I have the 5 pans and I have the minis. So I don't think I'm going to keep all of these. So I have 3 of the 5 pans. I am going to keep this one. This is the number 8. I've shown you in one of my vlogs. I absolutely love these two peachy ones, and that's the only ones that I really use, but I like that, so I'm going to keep that one. Then I've got the number 10. This is pretty nice, but it's very, very intense, and as you can see, I've hardly used it. I think my mother-in-law will love this. And then I have the Camel palette. I might keep this one because this is such a lovely everyday neutral palette. So although the Camel palette again leans a bit yellow, I'm talking about the undertone. So this one is maybe. Now minis. I have 5 minis. I have the Zendo, never use it. I've got the Mini Love palette. They are all lovely, but I have these sort of pinky purple ones in her big palette. Oh, this one I think I actually really like, these 2 latest ones. My dream. So I have a big one obviously, but it's nice to have the little one to maybe take away with you, so I keep this one. And then Mini Starlet palette, that's really pretty too, but I probably don't need this one. So that's Natasha Denona. Now I have 3 Wet n Wild. You won't see that many. I don't have many drugstore palettes because I do like my high-end ones. I think the quality is superior. I have Wet n Wild, this one, this little one, and this little one, and there is nothing wrong with them, but I don't reach for them because I have so many other palettes. So I've bought those for review or to do like a get ready with me. I have 3 palettes from Affect. This is a Polish company. Absolutely amazing eyeshadows, amazing quality, very pigmented. This is all just matte, but do you know what? I did use it when I first got them, but I hardly use them. I like to keep palettes maybe that have some interesting shimmer eyeshadows, because the mattes I have so many, so maybe I would keep this one. So these ones are maybe. Another Too Faced, I used to love this palette. That was, I think, limited edition, Razzle Dazzle berry eyeshadow palette, and I remember doing amazing look with it. This eyeshadow, oh my goodness, I just remember this eyeshadow is out of this world. So now my mother-in-law will love it. She loves the purples and stuff like that, so she can have that one. Oh, another Natasha, Pat McGrath Mothership. Which one is it? I don't remember, and I can't see. It's probably the one that is most usable for every day. I love this one, so I'm definitely keeping this one. And they are so expensive. Okay, let's go through Charlotte Tilbury. So of course I am not going to get rid of any Charlotte Tilbury's palettes, because I am, you could call me a collector. The same with Natasha Denona. But these two, do you remember she used to come out with these long ones, usually for Christmas. This one I wasn't that into. I never ever really used it, so this one can go. This one I actually really liked. You can see I've used a lot of the ones here at the front. I think my mum might like it. And then I've got the small ones. This is the Charlotte Darling. This is a very lovely palette to take away with you because it's nice and small. I've used this a lot, so I'm liking this. Then I have, of course, Pillow Talk Dreams is like almost holy grail. Then Pillow Talk. Do you know, this Pillow Talk is so old. When did the first Pillow Talk came out? Years ago. And this is still the same palette. And I've used it loads, but they feel a bit dry now. So I might actually throw this one away and buy a new one. Because Pillow Talk, especially in the summer, is another everyday holy grail. And I don't need to buy it now. Winter is coming. I probably wouldn't use it. So next summer I might repurchase the Pillow Talk. So that is going in a bin. Desert Haze. This one, to be honest, I didn't even need. It's all matte palettes, all browns. I have that in so many other palettes, and it is quite new. So I don't know. This is maybe. This is going on maybe. Beauty Pie Patty Dubrov eyeshadow quad. Very nice, cool, but I don't need it because I have that sort of shadows in one of the Natasha Denona's in the Glam palette. So this can be given away. And then I have Fire Rose. To be honest, I don't use this one that much, but you know, it's Charlotte Tilbury, so I can't really get rid of it. So I'm going to keep that one. Oh, I've got another Pat McGrath Labs quad. I can't remember what that one was called. It's probably not available. Again, really like this one. It's one of those no-brainer ones because it's just for eyeshadows and you can just do one look and be done with it. So that is going here. Oh, I found another old Makeup Geek made up palette. Do you remember that trend when we used to make our own palette? The singles were very popular and you could make your own palette. Ow, 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 I'm a bit stiff now. Okay, Sigma. Love all the Sigma palettes. This is a new mod and that is perfect. All these berry colors. I really like this one. In fact, I prefer this one to the Huda one, so I will keep this one. By the way, if you want to buy any Sigma palettes, I always have a discount code, so I will leave it in the description box, and the same with Natasha Denona. This is one of my favorites, the Ambient palette, so definitely keep this one. I use it a lot. Then I have the Sigma Rendezvous. We used it loads. I love it. And then I have little Sigma new mod, so I don't need it because obviously I have the big one. I think my mum might like this one. That's for Mama. Right, the Cool Neutrals. This was, I think, the latest one, and to be honest, this one is my least favorite. It's very, well, it's not very cool. The brands in here are more neutral, but it is quite intense. So it's more for going out that I wouldn't really use. So who shall I give it to? I have few people in mind, you see, and I'm making piles for them. Okay, and then I have the little 9 eyeshadows, and they are all gorgeous. I have done tutorial with every one of them, and right, I really like this one. Look how much I've used of one of those eyeshadows. Again, this is like my winter one. I keep this one. This is beautiful, fiery, orangey one. It's actually called Fiery. I like it, but I'm not as bold with my eyeshadow anymore. So then Earthy is really a nice cool palette. It's got some greens and khakis, which I'm not into, so I will give that one away. Then we have Beachy, again a bit of color here, those blues, that's something that I would never use, but again, all these palettes are great quality, blend beautifully. It's just that sometimes the colors is not something I would use, or use it very, very rarely. Electric Pink, again, this one is probably too pink for me. And Ritzy, I definitely like Ritzy, so I'm going to keep Ritzy. We're almost there. Oh, and I have Sigma Anouk palette. This palette is gorgeous. This was Anouk is an influencer here on YouTube, and she did this palette with Sigma. I've done some gorgeous looks that I didn't think I would enjoy, but again, this I will never use. Know someone that will. Now I have few palettes from Alter Ego. So Alter Ego are this affordable eyeshadow palette company, makeup company that does dupes, and most of the dupes are for Natasha Denona, and the quality is amazing. I love them. I have already given some away just because I have the Natasha Denona equivalent, so I don't really need it. But if you always wanted Natasha Denona palette and you can't bring yourself to spend that much money, these palettes are between, I don't know, some are 16 up to about $24, I think. So I think this one is one of Huda Beauty's dupe, and again it's quite dark and intense, so I don't use it that much, but I quite like this eyeshadow on this. Oh, I don't know about this one. Then this is Natasha Denona's dupe for the original golden palette, gold palette, not the golden that just come out, Natasha Denona had gold palette, which had those teals in it as well. And again, it's not really it's too yellow for me basically. So I definitely don't want this one. And this one I think is the latest that I had, Mystique. And again, beautiful, but where am I going to wear all these colors? So definitely not keeping this one. I would say this is probably more appropriate for someone really young. Okay, and here I've got another Sigma one, which are Warm Wishes, which I definitely keep. Morphe Midnight June. This is really good quality, lovely, proper, cool palette. So I will keep that one. Then I have Huda Beauty Matte. I don't know which color is this, but these ones, I'm not really into those. Oh my god, those of colors, Marvelous Mauves. I cannot get rid of this one. This was my holy grail palette, and every time I did a look with this palette, I don't know if they still sell it, if you can still get it, really old, but you know what, I am going to spray it right now with the alcohol to disinfect it, and I'm keeping it, can't get rid of that one. And BH Cosmetic Absence palette, all these greens, do you know, I'm going to keep it because now and again I fancy a green look, and in here I've got every green I need, or for like a green accent. I'm going to keep this one. And another one, if you've been with me for a long time, you would have known this for years. Holy Grail, Lorac Unzipped. Unzipped, the original. Again, nice mauvey cool palette. This is my second one actually, and this one is, I found it somewhere online, I managed to get it, so I'm going to keep that one. And that's me done. I've done really well, oh my goodness. But you know, I'm going to sit here now and look through them again, and I probably keep some that I said I wouldn't keep. But I feel a bit better about it because I have more space. So if there is a new palette that I really like that comes out, I won't feel so guilty for buying it, because right now, you know, I didn't buy the new Natasha Denona I Need a Warm, which is unheard of. I normally would have been buying it straight away, and I might still buy it, but I'm not in a rush for it. Okay, my lovely, so these were my eyeshadow palettes. Honestly, this is probably only 1/3 of what I used to have. Like I said, I do now and again go through them and donate them or give them to friends and family. I just don't know how the rest of YouTube world that is in makeup and review all the stuff, what do they do with all this stuff? It's impossible to keep it all, and it's impossible to use it all. And please, whenever I buy something and review it, remember this is like a job. I do it for you so you can make your decision if you want to buy it or not, but you don't have to have all of these eyeshadow palettes. These reviews are just meant for you to decide if it's worth it, if you want to spend the money, is it gonna suit you, is it something that you're going to use all the time. So if I wasn't a YouTuber, I would never have this amount of makeup. Okay, my lovelies, I hope you enjoyed going through my palettes with me. I hope I've inspired you, if you're a bit of a makeup hoarder, to go through your makeup and clear it out. I still have lots of other things to clear out. I also have tendency of hoarding different powders and bronzers. in fact anything makeup. Okay, my lovelies, so this was fun. It was a bit painful for me, but I got through it. Thank you so much for watching and stay fabulous. Bye.